The rain had started lightly, drizzling on the glossy windshields lined up in the pristine showroom. Marian Harper stood at the entrance of Westvale Motors, her modest beige coat soaked through, clinging to her frame. Her worn-out flats squeaked against the marble floor as she stepped inside, holding her purse close like a shield. Excuse me, I'm here to look at a sedan, she said softly to the salesman behind the glass desk. He barely looked up from his phone. You sure you're in the right place, ma'am? Our vehicles start at $80,000. She nodded, offering a small smile. Yes, I know, I'd like to test drive one, if possible. Now, he looked at her, eyes sweeping over her wet hair, the faded bag, the timid posture. He stood slowly, sneering. Look, I don't mean to offend, but we don't offer test drives, just to entertain people. You should try the used lot down the street. Marian blinked. But ma'am, we don't have time for window shoppers playing pretend. Please see yourself out. Stunned silence. People turned. She felt the heat in her face as she backed toward the glass doors, blinking back tears. Outside, the rain welcomed her again, hiding the shame that poured down her cheeks the next day. The dealership was lit up like usual, a sterile gleam bathing the chrome emblems in moneyed light. The same salesman lounged in his chair, sipping espresso. Then came the rumble. It wasn't just the sound, it was the presence. Heads turned as a black Rolls Royce Phantom pulled up to the entrance, its custom plate reading MH1. A driver in a tailored suit stepped out, opened the back door. Out stepped Marian. Her hair was dry now, swept back in a neat chignon. She wore a navy cashmere coat and Louboutin heels, every step clicking with quiet authority. The salesman stood frozen, cup hovering mid-air. Behind her, a tall man emerged, salt and pepper hair, bespoke suit, the kind of presence that made CEOs sit straighter. Marian Harper, billionaire investor, and husband to the woman he'd once met in a grocery store aisle over dented cans of soup. He handed the keys to the manager. My wife would like to test drive every model you refused to show her yesterday. Then she'll choose 3. Marian met the salesman's eyes, expression unreadable. Oh, Roman added, smiling coldly. And I'll be buying the dealership for her, as a toy. Silence. And then, Marian stepped forward, looking at the salesman with quiet, calm grace. Still think I was playing pretend. The rain had started gently, just a whisper of drizzle against the concrete, but by the time Marian Harper reached the gates of Westvale Motors, it had turned into a steady pour. Her umbrella had long since given up the fight, flipping inside out 2 blocks ago, leaving her to walk the final stretch in the open. Wet tendrils of hair clung to her cheeks, and the beige coat she wore, though once her Sunday best, now looked tired and shapeless, clinging uncomfortably to her body. Still, she pressed on. Inside the showroom, the lights were warm, the floors gleaming, and the scent of leather and high-end polish hung in the air. Cars worth more than most people made in a year sat silently under spotlights, as if posed for an art gallery. Salesmen in tailored suits moved among them like sharks, smiling smooth, always circling. Marian hesitated at the entrance, brushing a hand over her wet coat, trying to collect herself. Her heart pounded, not from fear, but from nerves. She had gone over this a dozen times in her head before coming. She knew what she was looking for, a reliable, mid-sized luxury sedan, preferably with all-wheel drive and good safety ratings. She had done her research. She had her notes. What she didn't have, clearly, was the look that fit this showroom. A man in a dark blue blazer approached. His name tag read Bradley. He wore a sleek watch and held a tablet casually in one hand. Can I help you? He asked, giving her a quick once-over that bordered on condescending. Yes, Marian said, steadying her voice. I'm interested in the 2025 Amara S-Class. I'd like to see the interior, maybe take a test drive. Bradley blinked slowly, then gave a tight-lipped smile. Of course. But before we do all that, just to clarify, you do understand the starting price for that model is just under $90,000, correct? Marian paused. Yes, I'm aware. He made a noise, something between a sigh and a chuckle. Well, we usually require a pre-qualification or at least proof of funds before we arrange test drives for our premium models. It's policy. She frowned. I wasn't asked for that when I called yesterday. Really? He said, tapping the screen of his tablet disinterestedly. Must have been a miscommunication. You know, things get busy around here. She tightened her grip on her purse. I'm not here to waste anyone's time. I'm ready to buy if I find what I like. Bradley raised an eyebrow, of course, but respectfully, we've had situations before. People coming in, trying to get joyrides, taking photos for Instagram, pretending it wastes resources. The implication stung, pretending. Marian glanced around at the other customers, sleek women in designer coats, men in cufflinks, and felt her face flush hot despite the cold drizzle still drying on her skin. She wasn't poor, far from it, but she looked ordinary. She had always liked that about herself. Asterisk, if you're serious, Bradley continued, his tone sharpening, I'd recommend setting an appointment. Come back with a financial advisor, maybe your spouse, if you have one. We'll be happy to help then. Asterisk, her throat tightened. I don't need a man to buy a car. Asterisk, he shrugged. No offense, just easier that way. The silence between them stretched, awkward and loud. Finally, he gestured subtly toward the door. I'm sorry, but unless you can show me something today, I can't allocate a vehicle or time. We're very busy. Asterisk, people had begun to watch now, two salespeople whispering near the service desk. A customer glancing up from a cappuccino in the lounge. Marian felt a sick weight settle in her stomach. Asterisk, without another word. She turned and walked out. Back into the rain, she made it 3 blocks before she stopped beneath an awning and allowed the tears to come. They weren't tears of sadness. They were hot, furious, humiliated tears. She had faced worse in her life, much worse, but this moment gnawed at something deep. The assumption, the casual dismissal, the smallness he had forced upon her, and he had no idea who she was. Not who she was perhaps, but whose, that night. Marian sat at the edge of a vast leather sectional in a penthouse most people would have mistaken for a presidential suite. Rain pelted the floor-to-ceiling windows of the 39th floor, but inside was all warmth, candlelight, low jazz, and the smell of fresh cinnamon from the bakery box on the counter. Asterisk, Roman Harper stood near the kitchen, still in his post-meeting, tuxedo sans tie, his silver-streaked hair damp from the storm. He stirred 2 cups of tea and carried them over. She took the cup, her hands trembling slightly. He watched her face. You're quiet. Asterisk, Marian inhaled slowly. I went to look at a car today. Asterisk, he sat down beside her, without telling me. Planning to surprise me with a sports car, are you? Asterisk, she smiled weakly. I didn't want to make a fuss. I wanted to do it myself. I didn't need you involved. Asterisk, his brow furrowed. Did something happen? Asterisk, and so she told him every detail. The rain, the stare, the questions, the humiliation. She spoke slowly, clearly, never raising her voice, but Roman's jaw clenched tighter with each word. Asterisk, when she was finished, he set down his cup and stood. Asterisk, what's the name of the dealership? Asterisk, she looked up at him, unsure. Why? Asterisk, he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Asterisk, because tomorrow, they're going to remember your name.